Welcome to a new edition of Hispanic Speak Out TV. Hi, my name is Lisa Pietri. I'm the co-host for this TV show and also the president for Hispanic Achievers US South. Today we have a special guest, but first I would like to do an announcement, and it's to remind our audience about the Hispanic Achievers license plate, which is available at all Department of Motor Vehicles and tax collector offices in the state of Florida. Remember that proceeds of the plate sales will help statewide non-profit organizations in their programs and services, and also for scholarship grants for students. So let's go to meet our special guest, and this is Attorney Karol Nuñez, who is my friend and also the president of the Hispanic American Professional Businesswomen Association. Hi, Karol, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Well, welcome to our show, and let's learn a little bit about you.
Well, I'm an attorney in Central Florida. I practice in the areas of personal injury, family law, immigration, probate, and execution of wills. I am also the, as you mentioned, the president of the Hispanic American Professional and Business Women's Association. And since 2011, this is, I'm going on my second year term. And I'm enjoying it greatly. It's a great organization, which is the reason I joined in the first place, and it's a great place to network and meet new people.
Yes, being myself a member of the Hispanic American Professional Businesswomen, which is also known as HAPBWA, so if you really hear about HAPBWA, you know that it's this organization. Its mission and responsibilities are aligned with many companies' mission statement as well. And just recently I was reading about some statistics from the White House and the U.S. Department of Labor, and I would like to share this with you and our TV audience as well. And it says African American and Latina women, who now make up an important part of the United States workforce, face higher rates of poverty and unemployment than white and Asian working women. The report, Keeping America's Women Moving Forward, from the White House, states that women make up almost 50% of the workforce, own 30% of small businesses, but still make 77 cents for every dollar men make, and about 2 million women are victims of domestic violence each year. But also the U.S. Department of Labor Secretary Hilda Solis, she wrote, "We must ensure that all women have the support they need to thrive and to avoid being thrust into poverty." And that's why organizations like HAPBWA, it's important to exist. I know that there are many other organizations, but let's talk a little bit about the mission of HAPBWA.
We're here basically to provide professional development for everyone. We don't limit ourselves to just one area. We don't limit ourselves to just lawyers or just businesswomen or just doctors. Or we have people from all walks of life. We have people who work for, in the public industry for government. We have people who work in the private industry for nonprofits like yourself. We have people who also work, who are going through school studying to be an accountant, but work cleaning houses. I mean, it's just very vast, and our purpose is to help them and support them, not only become their friends, but become almost like family, and help them grow professionally as professionals, as people. Our seminars are geared towards educating them so that we can give them the tools that they need to succeed.
And that's true, because HAPBWA is not only for the professional woman, but it's also for students,
yes,
for young aspiring business women, and also for the professional women and entrepreneurs.
Yes, we actually have, and this is how I got involved with HAPBWA. We have a committee called ALAS, Aspiring Latinas Ahora y Siempre. It was founded by Zoraida Velasco, and it is a very good committee, because its main purpose is to kind of get those younger students or those starting a career like myself that still need kind of guidance and mentorship and need to kind of break through the ice, because sometimes when you're in school, you're kind of in this worlds, and once you break into that professional field, you're kind of lost. You're like a little, you're unsure. You don't know where to go, who to talk to. If you need something, you don't know how to ask. And as Hispanics, we have that problem. El ay bendito, me da pena. We have that characteristic that so HAPBWA, I mean, it's helped me like greatly. Because I met Zoraida, I kind of broke the ice, and now I'm the president of the organization. I mean, I never imagined myself 5 years ago to be in the position I am now. So, I mean, it does a lot for you. It gets you going. It gets you talking to people. It gets you out there. It helps you develop that communication skill that sometimes you're a little bit afraid of doing. And as a student, I would have loved to have, joined earlier, but I didn't find it until after I had graduated. But I know that for a lot of students, they're still looking out for that. They're still kind of, that tie. They kind of, you can form a bond with someone who's been in the organization for so many years and has done so much for communities. I mean, we have people who have been here forever. I mean, like Eva Pagan-Hill, Lisa Varaliño, they're founding members of the organization, and they're big community leaders. And it's like me, I need something and I don't know who to go to. I call them up and they get me they get me to the right person.
It's important that you mention your own experience, because that's really what HAPBWA does. What I have learned when I selected HAPBWA as one of my first organizations when I came from Puerto Rico, it was because of that, because of the mission and the opportunities and the bridges that create. It aligns perfectly with Hispanic Achievers' mission as well, which is to create bridges from the student to make a smooth process to the workplace. And with the mentorship program, it facilitates a better vision from high school or college students to the business world. So that's really it's worth. And then we provide different tools for development. Can you talk a little bit about that, about all the events that we have, the communities, for example?
Our big signature event is called Women in Transition. It's a yearly event, and actually our members have actually requested for it to be twice a year. And just recently we started doing it bilingual. It started out as Spanish because there aren't a lot of Spanish conferences that speak on professional development. There's a lot of people who come from South America or Central America or even Spain who just don't grasp the things in English, so they prefer it in Spanish. But then since ALA started, I grew up here. I process things better in English. So we kind of, had to come to a happy medium where we kind of merge the older generation, or even the new generation who just came from South America, that really don't know English that well, that really don't digitize everything in English, to those who do. So because we have members from both. And that's one of our biggest events, and it has topics from nutrition, time management, pretty much everything under the sun under professional development. And then we also have events that, we have an upcoming event that we're going to talk about, Victim Service Center, and that's on April 25th. And basically what they can offer you, tips and tricks to avoid becoming a victim, which I think is a big thing in today's society with all the crime that's going on.
Oh, yes. No, and that's crucial with the economy, because economy drives to that kind of situation, to that society issues.
It's our time to connect, and HAPBWA definitely allows for it. It's kind of very traditional for everyone to kind of introduce themselves, let them know who they are, what brought them to HAPBWA, and that's something that we do at all of our meetings, which is very special because it gives you that personal touch, and then you're like, oh wait, I'm looking for that person, now you know.
Yes, and educational forums should be for everyone, and that's why HAPBWA has very affordable membership fees. It's only $75 in a year for so many worth events, educational events and forums, that even our signature event and the Thanksgiving event that we have with the community organization, and the Christmas party, so we can celebrate all our mission during the year. So it's only $75 and only $25, right, for students?
Yes, it's only $25 for students, which is, I mean, I don't know another membership that is that low, but it definitely, we do it as an incentive to get our students involved, to get them involved in the community, get them involved in networking and starting building those bridges early so that when they come, they're already prepared.
It should be like that. How people can learn more about HAPBWA?
They can email our general email for any questions. It's moreinfo@hapbwa.org, and it's moreinfo@HAPBWA.org.
Okay, and you have a phone number, right?
Yes, or they can call us. It's 407-796-8033. Again, that number, 407-790-8033.
And if our audience would like to know a little bit more by calling HAPBWA, or even can call me or contact me through Hispanic Achievers, hispanicachievers.org, phone number is 321-277-0850. I'm also a proud member of HAPBWA, so I just enthusiast everyone to join us. Thank you, Karol, for coming.
No, thank you for having me.
Welcome back to Hispanic Speak Out. I'm Jose Miranda, co-host with Danny Ramos. Danny is under the weather today, so we wish him, a quick recovery, okay, because we need him on the station here. So, of course, this is Bright House TV, Channel 49, 9:30s every Tuesday, and we've been on the air for 8 years, and we've been coming to you, bringing to you, all the important stuff of the community as well as national news. Quick question on the national front. This is just a buzz in. And before I forget, I'm being joined by the talented and lovely, once again, by Jackie Centeno. And she's also running for public office here, an advocate, but an educator. And a warm welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be back.
Thank you for coming back again, okay? We've also recently had a summit on immigration, which Jackie participated with. I was there physically, I was there. Very busy day for everyone. A quick question on the national news. A supporter of the Clinton administration and an advocate had a question directed towards the leading Republican candidate right now, wife, indicating that she wasn't a working woman and raising children and wasn't in the same category as, I'm paraphrasing of course, as the other working women. And so a big brouhaha has started a little bit behind that because, as you know, the Republicans have been anti-women for many issues and have, since 2010, have been working very, very diligently to suppress women's rights to their own health care, their own voice, basically, and making it, and passing laws to make it very difficult for women to speak out. And so this became a little bit of a button issue where Republicans can say something in their behalf. My thing is, my mom raised 10 of us, basically, and probably more children and more Latin families. And have extended families that have all been under one roof at one point or another, okay? And that includes aunts, uncles, grandmothers, because grandmothers are always in the homes, okay? Grandfathers too, unless you boot them out for something else, okay? So the question comes, and I was looking at the deal with my mom and stuff. Is my mom is the Republican candidate's wife on an equal playing field? If my mom raised 10 children on $30,000 or $40,000, cooked and cleaned and worked and did all those things, and if she didn't have to work or didn't work, that meant she survived on the same money anyway, or less, okay, as my dad would be the breadwinner. So is the millionaire woman raising 5 children the same as the $40,000 a year woman raising children? Because as a $1 million woman, I have nannies and people that cook for me, people that clean for me. And I am not knocking womanhood or the process of raising children. I am merely pointing out a question: is it the equivalent of a woman who raises 10 kids on $40,000 a year, as opposed to a millionaire raising 5 children with a whole lot of help?
Well, I think that first of all, it's a really big assumption that every millionaire is going to have nannies and stuff, but I mean, more than likely. But I think that the struggles are different. I grew up in those kind of homes where my parents were. My father was an educator. My mom is 76 and still works.
Cool.
My dad is retired teacher, but we grew up, I would say, middle class.
Right.
And my parents struggled. My father had an accident once for a motorcycle and was out of work for a very long time, almost a year and a half. And my mom had to work extra hours at Floor Shame, in New York, and building shoes and bringing home work after on the weekends just to make ends meet. But I think that the struggles is what makes it the key. It's the facilities of having dollars in your pocket and being able to provide, right, without having the worries of where the money's coming from.
Right.
So I think in those planes we are very different, very different.
And that was just my point. And again, not knocking womanhood.
Right.
I'm looking at it from terms of the struggles of especially Latinos, okay?
Yes.
Or African Americans or others in the same situation. I grew up in a tenement house. I grew up in 3 tenement houses. Okay.
I did too as a child with my grandmother for 48 years.
Okay.
Yes.
Those are the things that we did, and that we still do.
Yes.
Okay. And for the most part, we don't take our elderly and put them in homes.
No,
we
don't.
They live and die within the residence.
Yes.
So it was just a question that just
But
kept.
I think those are in terms of our elderly and how we raise and the things that we value. I think there's a really cultural aspect, and each culture has their own. If you would compare in terms of the youth, mostly Americans at 18, the kids have to, they're raised to become very independent.
They have to leave.
And by 18, you go to stay home, you go to a dorm, and you're on your way. And after you get out of there, you must be somewhere, not coming back home.
Not
coming back home.
Right.
Obviously, that's not probably necessarily generalized for the whole population, for the whole culture, but with us, obviously, they're 40 and hey, we want them home, and it's great, bring the kids, bring everybody else, and I think it's the cultural values that we bring from ourselves that makes the difference.
We're in the state of Florida, which could be any state in the union.
Yes.
Okay. It's run by males, flat out. I'm not gonna, maybe there's 5 of you, 10, whatever
10 of
it
us,
is.
right? Yes.
Okay, but it's flat out, it's a male country. We have decided, and more males of another party have decided, that their wisdom exceeds those of the mother, of the teacher, of the lover, of the educator, of the person who's normally the backbone of most families.
We are.
Okay, so
yes, we are.
I know very few families that are not that situated in that particular way. Not that they're not men that are capable of doing all the stuff that you guys do. However, being that the society has decided that the testosterone levels will be the marching orders of the day, how is it that you want to be in the middle of all this testosterone that's basically saying, we'll give you a seat someplace, but you must be quiet?
Well, that's very unlikely that I will be quiet. Very unlikely. I think you have to, it's unfortunately, for women, we have struggled for many centuries. We still do, in terms of male and female roles and where we stand. I think we've come a long way, and I think that men are beginning to understand, some men, that we do have a voice. We are very intelligent women. We're more than capable of doing any public office job. and that we're more than just a wife and bearing kids and then staying home moms anymore.
Right.
You know, we're able to voice our opinions and do critical thinking and run the country. You know, I hope someday, you know, if I don't see it, that my daughter sees it, that, you know, there will be a woman running the country.
Right.
You know, I didn't think in my lifetime that I would have seen an African American president.
Right.
You know, and here we are. You know, more than happy to see him there. So I think that times change and people also change with it, because you will have no choice. I mean, we're not a silent voice anymore. I think we're more than capable of doing any kind of job that we set our minds to do.
Now, you're running in which district?
I am running for State House Representative, District 48, the new District 48. It used to be District 49. It's currently run by Honorable Representative Darren Soto. He is going to run for the Senate. And that district used to have it as a part, Kissimmee, you know, parts of Boggy Creek and Osceola Parkway. That part is set aside now, and it's going to be District 43. And I'm running for the Orlando side, which will be 48.
Okay. Is there, what would you say would be one of the detriments at this well, it's a new district, but overall, this district has had issues. What would you say some of the issues have been?
I think some of the issues that we've had is obviously the jobs, you know, the loss of jobs in the economy, and obviously education and all the cuts in funding, the FCAT, you know, the test, and going from the FCAT or end of course evaluation, that for most kids will be detrimental, because if you can't pass that test, you're not going to have a high school diploma, and then what are you going to do? Even to work now at McDonald's or Burger King, you need a high school diploma. Right. You know, you need to finish school. And it's like a cookie cutter. You know, you want to test all children with one test the same way, when we have a vast amount of students that learn differently. You know, not everybody learns by taking a standardized test. Right. I don't think that's fair to our students. Especially students who come from other places whose English is not the primary language. Right. This test is not necessarily done by educators, and you know, what does that measure really? I mean, it measures English and math skills.
Let me ask you a question that Republicans have voiced. Why should we care whether whoever comes here gets educated or not? Don't we need mechanics? Don't we need people to clean the floors?
Yes,
don't we need people to fix our beds?
Of course, and I'm campus director and education director for MechTech Institute, which is a brand new school that's opening up in Orlando, and we're a tech school, and we do auto mechanics and auto racing, and we do welding and tool and die and electricity, and we need those fields. Those are occupational fields that we need, because we need those people. Nothing happens if you don't have electricity. Nothing happens if you don't weld things together. Those are, and not all children are going to do a 4-year career, a 4-year college. Right. I mean, they may not want to do that. So we need more skills, more occupational, quick skills that are going to get our people employable. But even to those kind of levels, you still need a high school diploma to attend.
Well, you still want to encourage them to go as far as they can.
Of course, we want them to, you know, I wish all the students will go to a 4-year college and get their degrees and master's degrees and doctoral degree and continue their education. But it's very difficult when you don't have a second language. You know, we need more programs out there, more community organizations to step up and say, well, you know, we're gonna implement English to second language program to teach their people how to speak English, you know, how to learn the language, because we're here, and you know, we have to speak the language. You have to be able to acculturate, and you have to be able to make an effort to have your children acculturate so they can be successful, and we can have productive citizens in the long run.
Well, I see that part of your platform is education.
Yes.
And the second part of it would be
job creations in terms of getting more incentives for small businesses and having them be able to hire more, getting job trainings.
What's an incentive to?
Maybe a tax cut that they would get. I was talking to some restaurant owners who were speaking about their concerns in terms of they buy these equipments for their restaurants, and they pay whatever sales tax they have to buy to bring all their machinery in, and then on top of that, the city or the county comes in and taxes them monthly on those items, on the use of those items.
Right.
You know, they're like paying double tax all the time.
Okay.
You know, how do we fix that where, you know, there's like, well, if we can get a tax break on those and at least reduce the percentile, then we're able to have an extra money to be able to hire more staff in to help us out in the restaurant. So those kind of things, getting vocational trainings and getting people back employed, to be employable, you know, to get back into society to work.
Okay.
So those things are important.
How do we go to help you and
to help me? This Saturday, upcoming Saturday, we're going to do a canvassing. We're going to go out knocking doors and walking. We're going to meet at Sedano's supermarket, which is the corner of Cimarron and Curry Ford, at 10 o'clock in the morning. So anybody who's interested in helping us out, we're going to go out there and knock on some doors. And you can contact me at 407-289-7554, 407-289-7554, or you can go and email me at Jackie for State Rep 2012 at yahoo.com.
Okay.
And contact me when you can. I would be more than happy to speak to you.
I'm sorry, are you also on Facebook? Did you
Yes,
say that?
I am on Facebook at Jackie for State Rep 2012 in Facebook. You can find me.
Well, I thank you for having
Thank you.
the
It's
time
always
to hang out
a
with
pleasure
me. I
to come
appreciate
back
it.
out.
And it's important to note that we have to get out and vote, okay?
Yes, definitely.
And the fact that we have Jackie out there is very important. And for Latinos, for non-Latinos, this is a chance to get involved in the community. And we need more people. We have plenty of suits and dresses out there of people who are just going along with the program, trying to get some sort of paycheck. Although I'm not really. Are you going to make like $1 million being
No,
doing this
not
job?
really. This is a part-time job actually,
Okay.
and it's about maybe 30 grand, I think. I'm not even sure.
Right.
But it is, you know, you mentioned the vote, and it's very important because, you know, campaigns are very expensive, and we would love to have donations and you know, have all this kind of money in there to be able to make announcements and put out, you know,
Sure.
big banners. But the most important thing is that you know, it doesn't matter how much money you gain in a campaign if people don't come out to vote for you.
Right.
And I think that people need to look at all the candidates that are running their platforms. What is it that they believe in? What is it that they bring?
Check it out, yeah.
And check them out and really take the time to go out and vote, because that's the only way that your voices is going to be heard, that our voices are going to be heard, and that you're going to make a difference. If you want things to be different and to have changes, then you have to be that agent for change, and that only happens in the United States through the vote. So
Jackie,
please come out to vote.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you. I
Come
appreciate
on and vote.
it. Thank
This is
you.
a girl to look at.
Thank you.
This is Hispanic Speak Out. I'm Jose Miranda. We will be back, and we'll see you next week, same time, same channel.